Look, that game was no doubt a disaster.
So, today, what we're going to do is that I'm going to share with you one of my coaching sessions with National Master Robert Ramirez, good friend of mine. You've seen me on his videos. Now you're going to see him on my video, right? Um, but the whole purpose of this session that I want to share with you is one, what I do after a tournament. I go and talk to my coach. I actually first I write everything on leeches, and I'm going to show you how that looks like. And I go to leeches, which is free, and I document all. I annotate all my games, and I right after the game, I type my thoughts and all of that. I don't analyze with computers. Then I draw the arrows, and you're gonna see it on the video how I identify what I thought it would happen. After that, I meet with my coach. In this case, I'm meeting with Robert. One thing that I want you to, I will apologize. This was recorded on Zoom, so you would see our faces and our cameras very, very tiny. But the focus of the video is basically on my comments. You're gonna see the board, you're gonna see the notations, you're gonna see my comments and our conversation. That's the biggest takeaway. If you've never been on a coaching session or a debriefing session, this is a great example of that. Make sure you have a great coach that understands how you play, what you want to achieve, but gives you the right amount of coaching. Sometimes it has to be a little bit harsh, but it is fantastic. And there's a lot of takeaways. So I hope you enjoyed this. Look at the conversation. We're going to discuss two games, one against a stronger player that I end up drawing, and I was very happy with that draw. And another one was just a very easy game. So I hope this is insightful for you. It was for me. And then I'll catch up to you on the other side.
All right, so here you're playing the white pieces.
Yep. And I was able to notate every time. So you will see on every of my comments, you will see the time because I was very conscious of that.
Very good. Very, very good. All right, so far, very interesting. Queen f3. If they take and then you're on the king side already.
Yeah. So this is the one that I was like, okay, I gotta be careful. So that's why I brought the queen out instead of the knight.
Mhm.
You know.
I like it. So far, I like that you're being aggressive. If someone is being aggressive now, it's you. There's a threat right there from the start, and they
Yep.
have to defend. Bishop
Yep.
e6, you took, 92 with development. When you castle, you're gonna have a battery.
And he didn't expect that. He was surprised when I did that. He got very worried.
Huh. So he
Ah,
gave you a bishop,
correct. Now,
then before.
if you go back, did I had both bishops at one point? I think this is the game. Yeah. So, oh no, this different game. Continue. I was aware of the fork coming.
Yeah, but
So
you had to take.
yeah, correct. And once he moved that, I just needed to protect my queen. He would take the knight and I would castle. And then it would give him another chance to take my second knight. So I calculated that.
Mm,
Because if he takes my knight, it's game
very
over.
nice. Correct.
So
That was
see,
beautiful, man. That was beautiful.
yes.
That's tactics in the air. And again, this is the way to go about it. Just adding pressure, adding pressure, adding pressure. Queen f6. Woo! Give me that.
So
Give me
if
that.
you go back for a second,
Uh-huh.
so I was contemplating here and I spent some time. You can see that I spent about 7 minutes calculating whether it was
Okay.
better. I mean, the first move in mine, queen trade, I finished with my rook taking that knight one piece ahead, and I have a rook in a very dangerous position. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
All I needed to do was move my pawn, get that bishop out, and bring the other rook online before he could castle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm fine with that. But I was contemplating if you go to the next step, on the next move there, up, yeah, on move 12, one back. There we go. So you
Okay,
see,
Queen f6.
yeah. So the green one is the first that I was thinking, but then I was calculating if I bring the nine in to pressure his queen, then he would take mine, I would take with the king, or I would try to fork. But in that calculation, I definitely saw that I was going to lose the knight. So,
Hmm.
and just to show you that I was calculating multiple lines, deep lines, like 2 or 3 moves ahead.
Okay, okay. So, but then at the end of the day, you ended up going for this line, right?
Yeah, because I would lose on the other one. It wasn't going to work out.
Not really. So let me go back here. You get to this position. The guy plays bishop d4.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take it,
Yep.
knowing that the fork is coming. You go queen f3. He takes a knight. So up to this point is even, and then you put pressure over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he goes queen f6. Instead of defending in a different way, like maybe queen e7, he goes queen f6, which is basically offering you a free knight. Defend
Correct.
on f6. So now, yes, you're calculating. And by the way, I went quickly here because if you saw this far, yeah, you should like it. You have the bishop better than the knight. You're up a pawn. So
Yep.
definitely is a good position to have. Now, if we really go back here, we gotta be a little bit more. You know, it's a critical moment. You spend time, like you said, like 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But then I gotta ask myself, this is one of those situations where we're both attacking something good, but I get to hit first. So how can I take advantage of this? Number one, I'm thinking, what if I move my queen out of the way? So that's one thing that I want to consider. What
Oh,
options do they have? Maybe you considered it because now I'm hitting
no,
you. You don't have
I
time to
did
do
it.
much. I'm creating weakness, trouble. Now that's
Wow.
interesting. That's interesting. But to be honest, it's not that easy to consider and so on. What I really didn't like, what I was expecting you to consider is the following: you take, they take you, and now you're thinking, well, again, I'm attacking something. They're attacking something, but I get to go first. There's a lot of value in going first. So I'm thinking, what if I could move the piece that they're attacking with a tempo? And it's so interesting because you considered 95
I should have
before.
gone the other way.
Just go the other way. And now they have to deal with three things. I'm
Oh
attacking
my
the knight,
God. Yeah.
I'm attacking the fork, and I'm attacking this pawn. You gotta
My
give me
God.
something, my friend. You gotta give me something. So it's funny
That's
because you considered the going for the c7 pawn, but you didn't stop to think, hey, wait. Can
should
I
have
move
taken the
my knight?
turnpike
This is
instead of
the
I-95.
exactly. I know maybe we're thinking, oh, the tolls and all of that. But this is it, man. This is it.
Okay. That's
Give me one
beautiful.
of the two. That was
Yep.
it. That
Okay.
was it. And now you tell me, from if you were the coach here, what would you say was the reason for you to not find 95? Because you did consider everything. It's just that you only thought of 95 instead of 95.
Yeah. And I think out of my takeaways is that I didn't go, if you notice that I'm like, I need to calculate one more move or it, for some reason, this is an obvious move. It's a move that I've done before. It's a move that even with the perk where they push the pawn, I know that fork. The Vienna works on that fork. For some reason, I just one more minute would have helped me.
No, not even that. The only thing that could have helped you is going through where you went in this tournament, going through this experience. And then next time you're gonna do what I do. I'm in a critical moment like this. And before I go for it, I'm like, you know what I'm about to do is so logical. It's almost like an impulse. It feels like I have to do it because I already calculated it. Let me sit back
Yeah.
and test it. And we've talked about this when we try and test it, move by move. Okay, right now, I take, they take me. I see that position. Do I have anything else? 95 again, they take me. If I could go somewhere. And then when you're doing that testing, when you are doubting yourself, and it sounds ugly, but I do it all the time. When I doubt myself and I question myself, that's when I think of this move.
Mm.
That's the only way. Now, if you're Magnus Carlsen, that you're so sharp and so talented, you don't even have to. Like this, you saw this 20 moves ago, and you were born with it. The rest of us, we gotta do this. We gotta
Yeah.
do this.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you got into an end game that I think you have to be better. but
But
there's a lot of chess to be played.
yeah, and I didn't like that double pawns. I did not like that at all.
I think it was interesting to recapture like this. You still got double pawns, but
In the center will be better.
in the center you get the semi-open file. But at the
Yeah.
same time, your bishop is not open,
Yeah. Yeah.
so not so easy. Now rook f3 I didn't like, just like you marked it, because you're running into another tempo.
And I noted that which I should have brought it to the second rank. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
and then double up.
correct.
Yeah, and you have plenty of time. You had over 50 minutes there.
Yep.
And then here, I don't like it either. You're getting in the way of the bishop.
I know. And I didn't see that or the pawn moving forward.
Yeah. Now, I see
This,
you went here. What?
this is where I lost the game because
But you know the bishop cemetery, right?
the bishop won.
Cemetery?
Yeah, I didn't know that until now.
You kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You kidding me?
I think Rafael on Twitter said this is the Bobby Fischer, and I know
Yeah.
when he said that, I'm like, oh yeah, but it happened on the other side of the board. So yeah, um, yeah,
Yeah, and then to make it even worse, you went and traded down the pieces. You're already losing. You lost the bishop. Now you're down. The last thing you should do is simplify the game. You gotta
yeah.
keep the rook on the board. So if anything, a4, a5 to try to get him out. That was your last chance.
Mm,
I mean, still you're in trouble, but at least you tried. And you take, and well,
yeah,
at least you tried. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Now, how did you turn this into a draw?
Well, so this is important. The one that we went up. Uh, go back to two moves. Okay. So at this point, I know I'm gonna lose the bishop.
Okay,
So
exactly. So you rather get something for it.
correct. So I decided to take the B pawn from him because
Correct.
if it takes with the rook, I free my bishop for a pawn basically. If he move into
Yeah, of course, of course.
now the other thing, his other thing that he did, and I loved it, was I mean, under the circumstances that he took with the pawn, and that created two isolated pawns for me because I was thinking in the end game, I'll take those two. I call it los mellao, right? It's just a missing tooth. So I'll take los mellaos versus my double up pawn. I mean, the benefit of a double up pawn is that I can attack that same lane. So
Correct.
at that point, I'm like, okay, on that side, now I can manage. I just need to keep my rook. And on the G and H file, I can manage those pawns. So that's where I evaluated that. And he actually took like that.
Yeah, no, he had to do it. He had to take the bishop. Now he's up a piece. Now you're activating the rook, but honestly it means nothing right now. You're not attacking anything.
I just did it to pin that pawn.
Yeah, no, you need to create something. So I get that. H3, keeping the knight at margin. I get it. He's going for the pawn. You're going for his pawn. He's keeping it. Yeah, he's playing really well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And at this point, I was aware of the discover check. If he takes
nice tactics.
so that's when I moved back. If you move back, you see that I drew the line 2 steps.
Yeah. That's coming. No, I have no doubt. Your tactics are on point, but it's little details like that that definitely cost you the game. It was the queen hanging, and now the bishop cemetery. Those are things that are again isolated. It happens once. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. This should be an easy win for black. What did they do? Okay, keeping the king at margin and the knight. Oh, he gave it black. What in
You
the
know
world?
why? I'll tell you. I believe he was flustered, Robert, because I was looking at him and I don't think he knew how to capitalize on that. Because
Of course not.
actually, if when we get to the rook train, I ask him for a draw. It's like, will you take a draw? And he's like, because I know once the rooks are out, I'm gonna hold the fort. And I knew that all I needed to do is keep that knight and the king out. And that was it. but he didn't take it, and he was confident. The way he said it, not disrespectful. He was really cool. But you know how you like no, and I'm like,
No, no,
okay.
no, no. He got it. Interesting.
So
No, I think he saw a ghost here. Maybe he calculated that he was gonna win the pawn endgame.
he told me that he was trying to sack the knight to push that D pawn, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna do that.
There are too many pawns here.
Now, and I
Yeah.
knew I was going to lose that pawn. So my goal was to keep the tempo and keep my king there. That I didn't
Hmm.
want to move my king anywhere. So if he was going to push that B pawn of his, I'm keeping going straight. I'm going to create the pass pawn.
Exactly. No, but he should have won. Even at this point, he should have won. His king is too active.
Yeah.
When did he mess up? And what happened here? He offered a draw?
Yeah. Multiple calculation at this point. What does it say? Yeah, he didn't.
Um,
So he was going to push that D pawn. I would trade. He would take, and then in my calculations, it was a race to the other side of the board, or me taking that pawn. So I don't think either he was tired or exhausted or
no, he
frustrated.
was
Which
tired.
I like the fact that I frustrated him. So
Yeah, no, no. Hey, you held the position very well, but just for as a learning to
yeah,
both of us, all you have to do here is just G4, for example. You take or not, it doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna play D3, and my king is gonna go for this pawn.
yeah,
That's the win. But of course, you have to know your king and pawn endgame. That's why in our training, I was putting every week king and pawn endgame, king and pawn
yep,
endgame, king and pawn endgame. Well, I gotta tell you, this was horrible game on your part. Horrible game. I gotta tell you from the start, um, miscalculation, like very aggressive,
yeah,
but then miscalculate. He played horribly, and you didn't take advantage of this. He put it in your hands, and you said, "I don't want it."
yeah,
Yeah, knight b5. You shouldn't be missing that. Horrible in that sense, and then horrible in this. This moves is what I hate. What I didn't like. You
yeah.
giving them those opportunities. You shouldn't be giving that. And then lastly, the Bishop Cemetery. Well, you learned it. That's
Oh
it.
yeah,
That's it.
the hard way.
Now, this was a luck. You got lucky in this draw. You got lucky in this draw. But guess what? If they didn't prove that they knew how to convert, this is chess. This is chess.
Yeah,
What goes on the result at the end of the day is that it was a draw.
yep.
But we learned. We learned. All right. So the other game you said, number 4, you're
Yeah,
playing
just
as black.
yeah. Look at this.
Haha, yeah, yeah, you remember this.
And
That's it. That's
I
it.
did have some good combinations. If you, I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but if you scroll, at this point, I'm just
Yeah, you're having fun. You're just having fun.
yeah. I screwed up there, but
but
yeah,
but then you went. But I like that you did mess it up. You didn't have to play. By the way, here you have to be very cool with the move king d8, and then
yes,
you kick them out, and then you move king c7.
yep,
But I'm glad that you solved the problem, you acknowledged it, and you continued energetically. This is the key. This is the key. Be energetic.
yep.
Be
And I knew
energetic.
that king wasn't going anywhere. So you're gonna see now every move that I'm doing is uh just to put pressure. So I'm eyeballing that H pawn so I can get my knight out. So you see,
Exactly.
that's why I move my pawn to avoid the knight coming to defend that pawn there.
This, exactly. That was a really good move.
So now at this point, look at this. When I move that, he's gonna give me a major piece, either that or this. And I love that
Hmm.
I was able to find that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This was, but here you were in your element, very confident. Yeah, and I remember the end game. I mean, the checkmate that you did.
Yeah.
I remember the checkmate.
Another that's was you see that I'm finding 2 in 1. It's like he don't
Yeah,
know what to do. So at that point, I don't know what he did. He had to save the
yeah. This
yeah,
was this was a very sharp game, and this is you know how to play like this. It's just that there are little mistakes like the ones we already
yeah,
covered that they're gonna keep you. But the moment you eradicate that, that you fill that gap, that's it.
yeah. Look at this.
Everything is, that's it. You're not missing any opportunity. Yeah, not giving them anything. Rook on the 7th, pinned piece, you add more pressure to it.
Yeah.
Rooks on 7th, you're getting a taste for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do whatever you want, my friend. But
Yeah,
then,
I was, and the thing is that I was calculating. I think the big takeaway from this now is that I'm trying to make and find the best move and how they're going to rebuttal. So
mhm,
um
mhm.
so I still missing some of the key fundamentals like that bishop graveyard. Um so yeah, I'll look at your videos, but with the training plan, I think if I just continue what we just discussed at the beginning, it's just gonna build from
Consistency,
that. Yeah. Uh,
consistency. You're seeing that again, there's some things happening in your games that they're not your game. This is not the way you play.
Correct.
But then the more you come across them, the more you're gonna learn from them, and the more you're gonna eradicate.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
So
And that's why I asked, when is your next tournament? Because the closer we go to the next one, the more we continue to build on that. But
yeah.
little by
Uh,
little.
All right, this is exactly what I needed, man. So there you have it. 2 games. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you had a lot of takeaways from that conversation. What I do from that point on, and what you should do, is internalize the feedback. I actually looked at it for a second time and understand where were my gaps. And like in my previous video on how to create a training plan, this is what you want to do. Now you take that information, incorporate into your training plan, and continue to build from there. If you haven't seen that, make sure you visit that video. Let me know your thoughts and your questions about your experiences with a coach, or what have worked for you, or what is your takeaway from this. So I would love to hear from you in the comment sections, but make sure you subscribe, you hit that like, and let me know your takeaways. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.